Are there any screenwriters out there? I got a tip for you. There's something called the promise of the premise, and you have to deliver on the promise of the premise, or your screenplay won't work. What this means is your elevator pitch, or your log line, or your one sheet, or whatever it is that convinces a person to read your screenplay has to match up with your screenplay. So I can't go into the screenplay thinking that it's about a prostitute who gives birth to a child in a trash can, who turns her life around and becomes the president of the United States. And that's a B story in the movie. And what the movie's really about is her relationship with her mom. A good example of not delivering on the promise of the premise would be Inglorious Bastards. You can't follow Tarantino if you want to learn how to be a good screenwriter because he doesn't follow the rules that screenwriters are required to follow. I thought going into Inglorious Bastards that it was going to be about this ragtag group of soldiers going around Germany scalping Nazis, right? Well, sure, they did that in the movie, but that's not what the movie was about. That was more the B story. The A story of the movie is about the female character who owns the movie theater and her plot for revenge. So I was disappointed when I watched that because I was like, wait a minute. That famous trailer that shows Brad Pitt talking, and hyping up his soldiers, talking about, I want my scalps. That's what the movie's supposed to be about. It didn't deliver on the promise of the premise. You don't want to get all the way to the film stage, shoot your movie, and then realize that the film that you thought you were making is not the one you made because you have this idea in your head that's precious to you that you're not willing to let go of, or that you're wrong about what your movie's actually about. Try to deliver on the promise of the premise. What is your through line? What is the story that you're trying to tell all the way through? And can you deliver on that in the screenplay? Can you pitch that story in an elevator within 30 seconds? Does your log line describe that story in a way that's going to make me want to read it? And after reading your log line, am I going to read your screenplay and say, wait a minute, that log line doesn't deliver on what I just read? Or am I going to say, hey, you're right, this really is about that? So just keep that in mind. No matter what you're writing, no matter what you're working on, no matter what rules you're following, whether it's Save the Cat or whatever else, you have to deliver on the promise of the premise. And by the way, I'd love to give props to whoever first coined that phrase. I don't really remember who it was. I think it might have been Nat Mundell with Voyage Media. I was involved with a private coaching group with them some years back. I may have got it from them. I don't want to 100% give them credit for it, but I don't remember who I got it from, but I know I've been saying it ever since then because it's a great piece of advice for screenwriters. So just remember, your screenplay needs to be fulfilling, but above all else, deliver on the promise of the premise. This has been a quick tip from Total Rewind, and until I see you again, snitchy boochies.